Hi everybody, it's Leo.
And Irma.
And you're hanging with
The Realest Realtors.
Today we decided we're going to talk about inspection.
Oh, everyone's favorite.
Yes, what to inspect, when to get inspected.
How it works.
How it works. A little bit of everything. We're just going to touch on everything.
So timeline, right? In terms of you have an offer accepted.
Correct.
You are out of attorney review.
And under contract.
Under contract. So usually that's when we do inspections. You want to line up your inspections probably during attorney review. I always send a letter to all of my clients, or an email, saying, hey, we're in attorney review. Let's start reaching out to inspectors. Let's start lining it up so that once we're out of attorney review, we're going right.
We're ready to go. You
don't want to waste any time because you never know what's going to happen.
Right. And now, a lot of times people are like, okay, so one inspector for everything. It's not always the case. You could have one for septic, if there's septic in the area, one for well. You definitely want to start thinking about, and this is happening more and more, about sewer lines, inspecting the sewer lines, because they're old. They were made out of this like clay pot material.
Depends on the age of the house, honestly.
True.
If it was built in the 1920s or earlier, you probably have a clay sewer line from the house to the street. And so what that means is that tree roots could have grown into it, there could be holes, God knows what, and anything from the house to the street line is the responsibility of the homeowner. So I always advise, if it's an older house, you definitely want to have it looked at, because it could be, it could be a lot of money to replace. Just to backtrack a little bit, just so you know, so in most standard contracts, you have 14 days from the end of attorney review to the time that you have to do inspections and also give the report and your list to the other side.
Correct.
So just so you know, sometimes that's negotiated differently during your contracts, but we'll be there to help you. So
absolutely. And then our favorite test is the oil tank sweep.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You have to.
You got to do it.
You have to, because if there's an oil tank in the ground, 95% of the time the owner is responsible for removing it. Nobody will move forward. There's a lot of liability with that one.
Yeah, there isn't a rule yet. I think it's in the pipelines, maybe, legally speaking. But right now there are no rules requiring them to be taken out of the ground. But however, there's a very few, very rare buyers that will purchase it with something under the ground that hasn't been tested, and especially if there's no paperwork. You know what I mean?
And some towns are actually requiring it now.
Oh, that's
nice. If a tank is found, it has to be removed, because they don't want to deal with possible leakage later on down the road, contamination. So now you get your inspection, right? And I come with you. I'm the buyer. I get my inspection report. I want everything fixed on it, Irma.
Good luck. Godspeed.
A lot of times what we tell our clients is you really should only be looking at the things that are major to the house, major systems. If a door has, or a wall has a hole in it, and you see it when you go to purchase the house, you've already seen it.
Take that into account. It's actually written into the standard contracts. Anything that's visible that you can see, it's supposed to be part of what you go in with your offer. The inspection is really for a professional to uncover stuff that the regular person cannot detect, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if there's forced hot air in the house and I want baseboard heaters, I can ask for that, right?
Not during inspections. That you take into account when you put your offer in,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's how that works. Like you said, you look at the major things. If it's structural, engineering, what's it called, mechanical, or
wood destroying,
environmental,
and wood destroying insects.
So those are the major systems, and within that you can ask for either the seller to repair the issues or to get a credit. And in that case, you can have someone come out to do an estimate, and give you a ballpark of how much that might be.
But at the end of the day, most of the time you're not purchasing a new house.
Yeah.
If you are, it's a completely different story. So you can't really ask for everything in the kitchen sink. Going into it, you have to understand that you're negotiating, but you're not buying a brand new house. It's not going to be a brand new house. There are going to be quirks. Yeah. There are going to be things that are not to your liking, maybe.
Yeah.
And you have to be reasonable.
Yeah, that's the key. You have to be reasonable. A lot of times you'll find the inspector will say, this thing has 5 years left of life. Like say the roof or some sort of furnace or some sort of water heater. It's got a couple of years left of life. That's just maintenance. That's part of the cost of owning a home, to be honest.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah. And a lot of the times they outlive their life of service.
it's true.
You know, I bought a house one time. The boiler, they were like, "This thing should be gone already," and it lasted me until I sold the house. So it happens.
So you just never know. I think the thing is to be reasonable. In New Jersey, you consult the agents, but you also consult your attorneys, and the attorneys are actually the ones that do the negotiating back and forth. They write up the official documents once everything is settled. So it's a lot of people, but you know, we're here to consult you, we're here to guide you. You know, at the end of the day, everyone just needs to be reasonable.
Yeah,
buyers and sellers
absolutely
included. You know,
absolutely. So don't go into a house saying, "Hey, I'm going to offer this," but in inspections, I'm going to ask for everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
That's going to turn off your seller, and most often than not, you lose the transaction, and then you spend all this money on inspections, thinking you're going to get all this money back. And it doesn't quite work like that. So, you know, the more you know.
All right. Well, if you're
looking to buy or sell, or you have any additional questions, or you
give
just
us
want
a call.
to, you just want to hang out with us because we're the coolest people on earth.
We kind of are.
Yeah. Give us a call. Our information's at the end of this, and we hope you have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And blessed 2020.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.